Hey everybody, it's Kyle. Hey, I'm sorry it's so dark. I can kind of tell you can't see me very well, but it's kind of a bleary day here in Boise, Idaho, and I'm driving home. Time has changed, so it gets darker earlier. Whoops, forgot my seatbelt. But I got a message yesterday from somebody that said their son was freaking out and having meltdowns every time he heard a kissing noise, or like somebody, I guess, sucking on a mint or something like that. And she said, what do I do? Because it's the other kids are getting real aggravated. It's driving everybody real crazy in her home. And oh, it's a little brighter now. I guess I just needed to turn towards the light. Yeah, so I wanted to address that real quickly with you. And she also said we can't keep catering to him every time this happens. It's too much for our family. She just kind of went down this path kind of like that. And so I want to kind of tell you what we did as a family in a very similar circumstance than this. So first of all, you need to be grateful that it's not a lot worse, because in a lot of cases it can be a lot worse. I've got a buddy of mine whose daughter likes to smear her poop, and when he's not watching her, she'll sneak off and just make a mess of a room or her bed or wherever she's at. So if you think about that, you start to realize a kid that gets frustrated when there's a kissing noise, that's not so bad as having to clean up a big nasty mess. And you might even know people that have kids that have issues like this. So first of all, could be a lot worse. And we would remind ourselves of that quite often in our family. The next thing we did is we would sit down, each of our family members, and we would create an action plan. And this involves you, it involves your other typical kids. In this family, she says, all my kids are getting real aggravated and it's real annoying, they can't stand it anymore, which is probably the wrong way to handle it. You can stand it more. It doesn't have to aggravate you. That's a choice you and your kids are making. And that sounds harsh, but let me tell you how you get there. In our family, what we would do is we would sit down, our older two typical sons, and we would say, what can we do to help him when this happens? And we would ask ourselves, does he need attention? And if he does, we'll give it to him more often. Can we divert his attention when this kind of stuff happens? Maybe if we ask him questions. My son specifically is a huge fan of superheroes. And so anytime he would have an issue where something would bother him real bad, or a noise, or anything, we would start trying to divert his attention away from that and ask him questions that we thought might interest him. And we would set up a plan to do that. Now, the other thing we always set up was triggers. We would say, okay, here's what's happening. In this case, when this boy hears a sound of a kiss or a smooch or something like that, he flips out. And so as a family, we decided what we would do is not flip out, not get aggravated, not get frustrated, but move towards him with kindness, each one of us, and we would say, hey, what's going on, buddy? Tell me what I can do. What happened? What did you hear? Why does that bother you? And just start to try to talk to him. What you'll start to realize is that if you engage him in a kind and loving way, you're going to get better results. You're not necessarily going to be able to stop him from those noises causing him that pain or frustration or whatever it is that noise is causing. And you can't always stop the noise. We found that out in our family. You can't really prevent everything from happening. You can't walk around on eggshells in your own home. Otherwise, those kids will start to control our home, and there's just so much tension. And if somebody does the wrong thing, everybody gets mad at them. And we didn't want to live that way. So we would sit down as a family, and we still do it to this day. We've got 8-year-old twins. that are typical, and we've got a 22-year-old and a 20-year-old that are typical, and we have our 17 and 14-year-old boys that are on the spectrum. And we have conversations regularly where if we start to see a pattern with our boys that are on the spectrum, we'll sit down as a family and we'll say, what have we been doing right? What can we do better? We want to know those things. What did we do wrong? And in this case, maybe the fact that the family's flipping out when he gets frustrated and starts to melt down is probably making things worse for him and for the family. So we would create new triggers where we would say, okay, next time somebody makes a smooch sound and he melts down, we're all going to move towards him with kindness. And here's our approach. We're going to talk to him about Spider-Man, or divert his attention away from it, or ask him what's going on, or maybe get him a drink of milk, maybe his favorite drink. Whatever those things are that we can do to help him manage that in the best way possible. Because when they're at their worst is when they need us, their family, at our best. And so we talked about that as a family. What can we do to help when this happens? Now, what we noticed in a lot of cases is that patience, active patience, is a big part of this. In a lot of cases, this is just a phase they go through. And if we're patient and kind through that phase, we're happier, they're happier. We can minimize those meltdowns. We can de-escalate them a lot quicker, and we're a happy family. So hopefully that's helpful. I wish I could tell you to twist his earlobe and it would stop. It's not the way these kids work. It requires really a lot of effort on our parts, but it's worth it, right? Because these kids need us at our best. Not just us parents, but the brothers and sisters. And if we can talk about how to do that when times get the worst, it can become a huge benefit for our entire family. So hopefully that's helpful. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Send me more questions. I like them, and I'll do my best to answer the ones I can. Have a great, I don't have all the answers, but certainly I have some processes we've developed that have worked for us, and we're happy to share those with you so that you can try them. You know, we believe in know your outcome, take action, and then adjust your action as necessary. And that's what we've always done as a family. So we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.